I was standing in the corner of the party room holding a glass of warm soda when she came up to me. Camilla, the bride. The white dress trailed the floor elegantly, the veil swayed slightly, and the smile on her face was perfect, too perfect. She approached slowly like an actress entering a scene and stopped right in front of me. Her eyes sparkled, but it wasn't happiness. It was something cold, cruel. "Sir Carlos," she said with a sweet voice that didn't match her look. "Are you right there in the corner?" I forced a smile. "Yes, I am, my daughter. Happy for you." She tilted her head, feigning concern. "It's just, well, there's something I need to tell you." She looked around, making sure some guests were paying attention, and they were. I saw the faces turning our way. "This event is for the family, you know. Important people, people who are truly part of our lives." My heart started to race. "What do you mean, Camilla?" She sighed as if she was doing him a huge favor. "What I mean is, you're not part of the family. Not really." She said it loud, loud enough for the people around them to hear, and they listened. Some stopped talking, others looked at me with pity, or worse, with contempt. I felt my face burn. "Camila, I'm Tiago's father. I raised this boy alone since he was 5 years old. Exactly." She cut me off with a cold smile. "You raised him, but now he has a real family. With me, with my parents, with good people." She paused and looked me up and down. "People who don't embarrass us in public." Let me back up a little. Let me tell you who I am and how I got to that horrible moment. My name is Carlos Alberto da Silva. I'm 52 years old. I'm black, working, single father. I worked my whole life as a supermarket security guard, cleaner, doorman, bricklayer's assistant, whatever came my way. I never had luxury. I never had a car. I never traveled anywhere other than my mother's house in the country, by bus, once a year. My wife, Joanna, died when my son, Tiago, was 5 years old. Breast cancer, fast and cruel. She found out, and within 6 months, she was gone. I remember the last night in the hospital. She was so weak she could barely speak. I held her cold hand and she whispered, "Take care of our boy, Carlos, promise me." I promised. With tears streaming down my face, I promised, "I'll take care of him. I'll give him everything. He'll have a better life than us." And I did. God is a witness. I fulfilled it. After Joanna died, I was left alone with a 5-year-old child, late rent, and a chest pain that wouldn't go away. But I couldn't give up. I didn't have time to be sad. I had to work. I had to put food on the table. I had to take care of Tiago. So I worked. I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3. I would get up at 4 in the morning, prepare breakfast, take Tiago to school, work all day, pick him up in the afternoon, make dinner, help with homework, put him to sleep, and often even go out to do security work at parties or events. I slept 4 or 5 hours a night, but it was worth it. It was all worth it when I saw my son smiling, learning, growing. I didn't have money, but I had love. I had no education, but I had determination. I ran after a scholarship for Tiago. I achieved. I put him in a good private school. He was always smart. He got high grades. The teachers praised him. I went to parents' meetings, always wearing my work uniform. Sweaty, tired, but I went. I never missed a meeting. I never missed a presentation. I was there, always. When Tiago finished high school, I paid for pre-university courses with extra time. He passed civil engineering at a federal university. I cried with joy. My son was going to be an engineer. My son was going to have the life I never had. He graduated, got a good job. He started to earn well. He left home and rented a nice apartment. I was happy for him, proud, and that's when he met Camila. The first time Tiago introduced her to me, I was suspicious. I don't know how to explain it well. It was just a feeling. Camila was beautiful, well-dressed, polite, but there was something in her eyes, something cold. She was smiling, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. "Dad, this is Camila, my girlfriend," Tiago said, all proud. I reached out. "A pleasure, my daughter. Welcome." She shook my hand quickly as if she was disgusted. "A pleasure, Mr. Carlos." And that's it. That was it. She didn't talk to me. He didn't ask anything about me. She stayed glued to Tiago the whole time. Then they left and Tiago called me later. "So Dad, do you like her?" "She looks good, son." I lied. "Just take care of her straight Itinho." "I will take care of her, Dad. She's special. Her family has money, you know. Her father is a businessman. Her mother is a lawyer. They live in a gated community. It's another level, Dad." I felt something tighten in my chest. Another level. As if my level wasn't good enough. Over time, Tiago began to change. He visited less. I called less. When I called, he was always busy. "Dad, I'm in the middle of dinner with the in-laws. I'll call you later." "Dad, I'm on a trip with Camila. We'll talk when I get back." And he never called back. Until one day he called me and broke the news. "Dad, I'm getting married. Camila accepted my proposal." I should have been happy, but I couldn't. There was something wrong. I felt it. "That's great, son. Congratulations. When's the wedding?" "In 3 months. It's going to be a big party, Dad. Her family is organizing everything. And I'll be there, right, son? There was a pause. A small pause, but it hurt. Of course, Dad, you'll be there. But his tone didn't sound convincing. In the following months, I hardly saw Tiago. He said he was busy with preparations. I offered help. Son, can I help with something? Pay something? Do something? No need, Dad. Camila's family is already taking care of everything. Camila's family. As if I wasn't part of his family, until the wedding day arrived. I woke up early, ironed my suit. It was the same suit I had 15 years ago. Old, a little faded, but it was the only one I had. I had bought it for Tiago's college graduation. It was special. It was my suit for important occasions. I took the bus to the party room. It was in an upscale neighborhood of the city, a huge, luxurious place with an iron gate, garden, parking lot full of imported cars. I felt small, displaced. When I entered the salon, I was impressed. Huge chandeliers, tables decorated with white and gold flowers, waiters serving champagne. There were elegant people everywhere, men in expensive suits, women in long dresses, jewelry, strong perfume. I tried to blend in, but it was impossible. Everyone looked at me sideways, as if I were an intruder. I looked for my son. He was near the altar, in a tuxedo, talking to the groomsmen. I waved at him. He saw me. He gave a small smile, but he didn't come to talk to me. He just waved back and continued talking. I went to him. Tiago, my son, you look beautiful. He turned around. Hi, Dad. His voice was cold, distant. Thank you for coming. Of course I came, son. It's your wedding. He looked at the old suit, the crooked tie. I saw the disappointment on his face. Dad, is that what you're going to wear? I looked at myself. Yeah, son. That's what I got. He sighed. All right, go to the back. The ceremony is about to start. And he turned his back. I went to the back of the room. I sat on a chair in the corner, alone. They didn't even put me in the chairs reserved for the family. And when the ceremony started, when the music played and Camilla entered with her father, I cried. But it wasn't joyful. It was sad, of loneliness. After the ceremony, there was a party, food, music, dancing, everyone laughing, celebrating. I stayed in my corner, eating snacks, drinking soda, trying not to get in the way. And that's when Camilla came to me. Sir Carlos, she said, in that sweet, fake voice. Are you right there in the corner? Yes, I am, my daughter. Happy for you. It's just, well, there's something I need to tell you. She looked around. People were looking. This event is for the family, you know? Important people. People who are truly part of our lives. My heart raced. What do you mean, Camilla? What I mean is, you're not part of the family, not really. She spoke loudly. The people around stopped talking. They looked at me. You raised Tiago, but now he has a real family. With me, with my parents, with good people. People who don't embarrass us in public. I felt my face burn with shame and anger. Camilla, please. I just wanted to see my son happy. I didn't come here to get in the way. She rolled her eyes. Getting in the way? Mr. Carlos, you're already getting in the way just by coming. Look at you. That old suit, that crooked tie. We took photos today. Photos that will last forever. And you appear like this? She laughed. A low, venomous laugh. My parents paid for this party. They invited important people, businessmen, lawyers, company owners. And then you appear looking like, she didn't even finish the sentence. He just shook his head in disgust. The people around started to whisper. I saw some laugh discreetly. Others looked away, embarrassed. But no one defended me. Nobody said anything. Where's Tiago? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Does he know you're doing this to me? Camilla smiled. A smile of victory. He knows, yes. And do you know what he said? She leaned close to me and whispered loud enough for anyone nearby to hear. He said you were always a burden, that he puts up with you out of pity. But now he has a real family, a family that serves. My world collapsed. I looked at her in disbelief. You're lying. I am. She shrugged and gestured to the security guard who was near the door. A big man in a black suit with a friendly face. Julio, please accompany Mr. Carlos to the exit. He's already leaving. The security guard approached. Sir, please, shall we? I felt tears burning in my eyes. No, I couldn't cry. Not there. Not in front of everyone. But the humiliation was so great, so heavy that I could barely breathe. I'm not leaving, I said quietly. This is my son's wedding. No, it's not, Camilla replied firmly. This is my wedding, and you are not welcome. In fact, you were never welcome. From the beginning, we knew you were going to be a problem, an embarrassment. But Tiago insisted on inviting you out of pity. But that's enough now. You're going to leave, and you're going to leave now. The security guard put his hand on my arm, firm but not violent. Come on, sir, there's no need to make a fuss. I looked around desperately, looking for my son, and I saw him. Tiago was standing on the other side of the room. He was looking at me. Our eyes met, and I waited. I waited for him to come, let him defend me, let him say something, but he didn't say anything. He turned his face away and went back to talking to his godparents, as if I didn't exist. It was at that moment, with the security guard taking me towards the door, with people whispering, with Camilla looking at me with contempt, that I realized something. As Camilla spoke, as she shooed me away like I was trash, I noticed something strange. She was nervous. It wasn't just arrogance. There was something more. Her eyes darted away when I looked at her. She fiddled with her necklace, her earrings, adjusted her veil, small gestures, almost imperceptible. But I spent my life working in security. I learned to read people, seeing signs of lies, nervousness, fear, and Camilla was hiding something. I didn't know what, but there was something wrong with her, with this perfect family, with this luxurious wedding, and I was going to find out, because 3 days before the wedding, I had received an anonymous message on my cell phone, a message that said, "Your son's bride is not who she says she is. She is hiding something. Be very careful. You will need this information on your wedding day." And along with the message came an attachment, a PDF file. I hadn't opened it yet. I hadn't understood. I thought it was a prank. But now, leaving that room humiliated, kicked out of my own son's wedding, I knew I needed to open that file. Because if Camilla was expelling me with so much force, with so much hatred, it was because she was afraid that I would discover the truth, and I was going to find out. I left that room with my head down, my heart broken, and the security guard escorting me to the gate as if I were a criminal. He didn't say anything. He just looked at me with pity and went back inside. I stood there on the sidewalk, alone, listening to the loud music inside, the laughter, the screams of joy. The party continued. My son's marriage continued. Without me. I took the bus back home. The bus was empty. It was Saturday night and most people were at parties and bars with their families. I was alone. I sat in the back seat and looked out the window. The city lights passed quickly, but I didn't see anything. I only felt the pain, the humiliation, the rejection. I got home almost midnight. I live in a small rented apartment in an old building, 2 bedrooms, living room, kitchen, simple, clean. It was what I could afford. I went in, threw the keys on the table, took off my jacket and sat on the sofa. I stood there in the dark in silence. And then I cried. I cried like I hadn't cried since the day Joanna died. I cried because I had given everything for that boy. All. My youth, my health, my money, my time. And on the most important day of his life, I was expelled, treated like trash, as if I were nobody. I stood there crying for about 20 minutes, until I remembered the message, the PDF file. I wiped away the tears, picked up my cell phone and opened the message I had received 3 days earlier. It was from an unknown number. The message said, "Your son's bride is not who she says she is. She is hiding something. Be very careful. You will need this information on your wedding day." And it had an annex, a PDF. I clicked to open. The file took a few seconds to load. When it opened, I saw that it was a scanned document. It looked official. It had stamps, signatures, dates. I started reading. It was a police report from the police civil CIA from another state, Minas Gerais, and the name that appeared on the document was Camila Rodriguez de Almeida, my son's fiancée. I read more. The bulletin was from 2 years ago. Camila had been indicted for embezzlement. She had carried out a financial scam on 3 small businesses, obtaining fake loans using doctored documents. He had embezzled more than 200,000 reais. The process was ongoing, but she had fled Minas Gerais and disappeared. My heart raced. I continued reading. There was more. A local newspaper report attached. The headline read, "Scammer commits $1 million fraud and disappears. Police investigate." And there was a photo of her. It was Camilla, younger with different hair, but it was her, undoubtedly. My head was spinning. Camilla was a scammer, a criminal, and she was marrying my son. I took a deep breath. I needed to think. I needed to understand. Who had sent me this and why? Was it true, or was it a setup? I looked at the message again. No identification, just that attachment. I tried to answer. Who are you? Why are you sending me this? The message was not delivered. The number was blocked or fake, but the document looked real, very real. I stayed up all night thinking, did Tiago know? Was he involved in this too? Or was he just another victim of hers? I wanted to believe that my son was innocent, that he had been deceived. But after the way he treated me today, I didn't know what to believe anymore. Early in the morning, I went to his room, the room that was his when he lived with me. I haven't changed anything since he left. The bed still had the same sheet. The bookshelf still had engineering books. The picture on the wall still had his graduation photo, smiling with the straw in his hand. Me next to him, also smiling. That day, I was so happy, so proud. I sat on the bed and picked up a photo album that was on the nightstand. I started leafing through. There was a photo of when Tiago was a baby, he in Joanna's arms, chubby, smiling. There was a photo of him at 3 years old in the playground, playing on the slide, me at his side, holding him. There was a photo of him on the first day of school, new uniform, big backpack, big smile, me taking him by the hand. I remembered everything. I remembered the day he got sick. He was 7 years old, high fever, vomiting. I didn't have money for a private doctor. I took him to the health center at 5 in the morning to get a password. The queue was huge. We were there 4 hours waiting. Tiago cried, complained, said he was cold. I took off my jacket and put it on him. I was left in the cold, but it stayed warm. When we finally managed to get treatment, the doctor said it was a virus. He gave medicine. I went to the pharmacy, bought it with the last money I had. I came home, gave him the medicine, made soup, stayed up all night taking care of him. The next day he was better, and he hugged me and said, "Thank you, Dad. You're the best dad in the world." I also remembered his high school graduation day. He was the best student in the class. He received a Medal of Honor for merit. He went up on stage, picked up his diploma, and before going down, he pointed to me in the audience and said into the microphone, "I dedicate all of this to my father. Without him, I would be nothing." Everyone applauded. I cried. I remembered the day he passed the entrance exam. I was working when he called me, shouting, "Dad, I passed. I passed. Civil engineering. I passed." I dropped everything and ran out of work. I went home. He hugged me so tight he almost knocked me over. We jumped, danced, screamed with joy. It was one of the happiest days of my life. How did we get here? How did the boy who loved me, who admired me, turn into this man who treats me as if I were nothing? There was only one answer: Camilla. Oh, she changed my son. Since she came into his life, everything has changed. He started to walk away, talking differently, dressing differently, looking at me differently. I remember the first time he spoke badly about me. It was 6 months later that he started dating Camilla. I called him on a Sunday to see if he would have lunch with me. He said he couldn't, that he was going to have lunch with his in-laws. I said, "Okay, son, but can we see each other at night?" He sighed impatiently. "Dad, I have my life now. I can't go there all the time." I was surprised. "All the time? Son, we haven't seen each other in a month. It's just that I'm busy, Dad. You don't understand. I'm building my career, my life. I can't keep going back to this place. This place." He talked about my house, our house, as if it were a bad place. Bottom. "Tiago, I just want to see you. I just want to know how you are." "I'm fine, Dad. Very good. Better than ever." Camilla's family welcomed me in a wonderful way. I guess, well, in a different way. Different from what? From me? How did I create you? I didn't say anything. I just swallowed the pain and hung up, and things only got worse. Tiago started canceling our meetings. He stopped calling me. When I called, he answered quickly, coldly, and when we saw each other, he was always comparing. "Camilla's parents' house has a swimming pool, Dad. There's a movie theater, there's a maid." As if he was telling me, "Look what I have now. Look what I never had with you." I tried to be happy for him. I tried to accept it, but it hurt. It hurt a lot. When I closed the photo album and went back to the living room, I picked up my cell phone again and looked at the document, the incident report, the evidence. Camilla was a criminal, and she was manipulating my son. I needed to do something. But what? If I went to Tiago and showed him this, would he believe me? Or would he think I was trying to sabotage his wedding? Worse, had Camilla already poisoned his mind so much that he was going to side with her, even with the evidence? I didn't know, but I needed to try. The next day, Sunday, I called Tiago. He didn't answer. I sent a message. He didn't respond. I called again. Nothing. I called about 5 times, until he answered, irritated. "What is it, Dad?" "Tiago, I need to talk to you. It's urgent." "I'm on my honeymoon, Dad. We're leaving this afternoon." "I know, son, but it's important. Very important. It's about Camilla." There was a pause, and then he said, in an icy tone, "What about Camilla?" "Son, I discovered some things about her. Serious things. I need to show you. Can you come here just for half an hour?" "What things, Dad?" I took a deep breath. "She has a past. A criminal past. She carried out scams, escaped justice. I have proof." Silence. And then he exploded. "You're unbelievable. Unbelievable. You can't see me happy, can you? You can't accept that I've grown up, that I have a better life now. You're making up lies about my wife to try to keep me away from her." "Tiago, I'm not inventing anything. I have documents, police report, newspaper report. Come here and I'll show you." "I'm not going there, Dad, and I don't want to talk to you anymore. You crossed the line. You humiliated me yesterday by showing up like that at the party, and now you're trying to destroy my marriage. I don't want you in my life anymore." My heart stopped. "Tiago, son, don't call me anymore. Don't look for me anymore. It's over." And he hung up. I stood there, holding the cell phone, shaking. My son had just kicked me out of his life, for good. I tried calling again. He blocked my number. I sent a message on WhatsApp. He blocked me there too. I was alone, completely alone. I sat on the living room floor and cried again. I cried until I had no more tears. But then, in the midst of all that pain, I realized something. If Tiago didn't want to listen to me, if he was too blind to see the truth, then I had to act alone. I had to find out more. I had to investigate. I had to gather more evidence. And when I had enough evidence, irrefutable evidence, I was going to expose Camilla, in front of everyone, in front of her family, friends, and my son, because I wasn't going to let that woman destroy Tiago's life, even though he hated me. Even if he never spoke to me again, I was going to protect my son. I always protected, and he would continue protecting. I picked up my cell phone, looked at the document again, and started researching. I looked up Camilla's name on the internet. I looked for news, I looked for processes, and I found more things. Much more. She hadn't just carried out a coup in Minas Gerais. There was also in São Paulo and in Rio de Janeiro. Always the same scheme. She approached successful men, gained their trust, and then carried out financial scams. He stole money, disappeared, changed his name, and started again somewhere else. And now she was doing this to my son. I printed everything, every document, every report, every piece of evidence. I saved it in a folder, and I started to put together a plan. But while I was doing that, my cell phone rang. It was a message from the same unknown number as before. The message said, "You've already discovered who she is, but you haven't discovered the worst yet. Camilla is not alone. She has an accomplice, someone who is helping her carry out the scam on her son, and that someone is closer than you think." I felt a shiver down my spine. Who was the accomplice? And then came the second message. Her father, the businessman. He's not a real businessman. He's the mastermind of the scams, and they're planning to empty your son's accounts and disappear. You have less than a week to stop this. My blood ran cold. I spent the next 3 days investigating. I didn't go to work. I didn't leave the house. I just researched, printed, wrote down. I transformed my room into an investigation center. Papers scattered on the table, on the sofa, on the floor. Printed photos of Camilla, newspaper reports, incident reports, lawsuits. And the more I found out, the worse it got. Her father, Rogerio Almeida, presented himself as a businessman in the import and export sector. He said he had his own company, offices in 3 states, and international contacts. But when I looked for it, I discovered that his company was a ghost. The CNPJ existed, but had no registered employees. It had no real physical address. It was just a facade. And there was more. Rogerio had at least 5 legal cases for embezzlement, fraud, and embezzlement. He carried out the same scam as Camilla. He approached business people, pretended to have profitable businesses, asked for investment, and then disappeared with the money. Father and daughter, a couple of scammers, and now they had my son in their sights. I dug deeper. I found the name of Camilla's mother, Helena Almeida. She also had processes, money laundering, participation in a financial pyramid scheme. The entire family was criminals. How come my son didn't see any of this? How did he let himself be fooled like that? The answer was obvious. Because Camilla was good at what she did. She knew how to seduce. He knew how to manipulate. I knew how to pretend to be the perfect woman. And Tiago, naive, in love, fell right into the trap. On Tuesday morning, I decided to go to Rogerio's office. I needed to see it with my own eyes. I needed to understand what they were planning. The address that appeared on his company's website was in a commercial building in the city center, an old but respectable-looking building. I took the bus, got off in the center, and went there. I entered the building. The doorman didn't even stop me. I went to the 8th floor, where the Almeida Importação e Exportação office was supposedly located. When I got there, the door was closed. There was a small sign with the company name, but the door was locked. No lights on, no sound coming from inside. I knocked on the door. Nothing. I knocked again. Nothing. I waited a few minutes. Nothing. I went down and asked the doorman, "Man, is the company on the 8th floor, Almeida Importação, working?" He shrugged. "I don't know, uncle. I've been working here for about 6 months, and I've never seen anyone go up or down from that office. I think it's just a tax address." Tax address. Exactly what I thought. Facade. I left the building and went to a nearby internet cafe. I paid for half an hour of internet and continued searching. I looked for Rogerio's name on social media. I found his profile on Facebook. The profile photo was him, in a suit, in a fancy restaurant holding a glass of wine, smiling. The profile cover was a photo of a mansion. It probably wasn't even his. I looked at the posts. He posted photos of trips, luxury cars, expensive restaurants, social events, everything to give the image of a successful man. But when I looked closely, I realized that the photos were always in the same places, always the same angles, as if he had taken several photos in a single day and was posting them little by little to pretend he had a luxurious life, and in the comments always the same profiles praising, "What a success, Rogerio. Congratulations, you deserve it. Inspiration." I clicked on the profiles. They were all fake, recently created. No friends, no posts of your own. Profiles created just to inflate his ego and give credibility. This man was a complete fraud. So I returned home even more angry. I needed more proof, evidence that not even Tiago could deny. But how? I had no access to his life. I didn't know where he lived now with Camilla. I didn't know which bank he used. I didn't know anything. And that's when my cell phone rang. It was the unknown number again. I answered, suspicious. "Hello?" A female voice responded, young, nervous. "Sir Carlos?" "Yes. Who is it?" "My name is Bruna. I was engaged to Camilla's brother." My heart accelerated. "Brother? Does she have a brother?" "Yes. He died 2 years ago. Suicide." Her voice shook. "But it wasn't suicide, I'm sure of it. He was murdered." I felt a shiver go up my spine. "Like this?" "Mr. Carlos, I need to speak to you in person. I have information, evidence, but I can't speak on the phone. They could be watching me." "Who? Camilla?" "Camilla and her father. They are dangerous, Mr. Carlos, very dangerous. Please, can we meet?" I hesitated. Could it be a trap? Or was it someone who really wanted to help me? "Where?" I asked. "In the square of the main church. This afternoon at 3 o'clock, I'll be on the bench near the fountain. I'll be wearing a red blouse." "How do I know I can trust you?" "You don't know. But if you want to save your son, you're going to have to take risks." And she hung up. I can't stay. I stood there thinking. Was it true? Had Camilla's brother been murdered? And why? I looked at the clock. It was 11 in the morning. I had 4 hours to decide whether to go or not. In the end, I decided to go. I had nothing to lose. And if this woman really had information that could save my son, I needed to hear it. At 2:30, I left the house. I took the bus to the center, got off at the church square. It was a large tree-lined square with benches scattered around, a fountain in the middle, and the Catholic church in the background. There were a lot of people, children playing, elderly people sitting talking, street vendors. I looked for a woman in a red blouse, and I saw it. She was sitting on a bench near the fountain, alone, looking at her cell phone. He looked to be about 25 years old, skinny, long black hair, scared eyes. I approached slowly. "Bruna?" She looked up and looked at me with relief. "Sir Carlos, thank you for coming." She looked around nervously. "Let's walk. I don't want to stay in one place." We started walking around the square. She was silent for a while, as if gathering her courage. "I dated Lucas for 3 years," she began. Lucas was Camilla's brother. He was a good guy, honest, hardworking, but he had a problem. He knew about the scams that his family used, and he didn't agree. Did he try to report it? He tried, several times, but his father always managed to bribe someone or threaten witnesses or forge documents, until one day, Lucas said he was going to gather definitive evidence and hand it over to the federal police. He said he couldn't stand seeing his own family destroying people's lives. She stopped walking and looked me in the eye. 2 weeks later, he turned up dead, hanging in his room. The police said it was suicide, but I know it wasn't. Lucas would never do that. He was happy. We were going to get married. He was saving money for us to leave the country and start over, away from that damned family. I felt the pain in her voice. "Do you think Camilla killed him?" "I don't know. It could have been her. It could have been the father. It could have been both of them. But I know he was murdered, and I know the whole family covered it up." "Do you have proof?" She took a flash drive out of her bag and handed it to me. "Here's everything. Audios that Lucas secretly recorded, conversations between Camilla and her father planning scams, false documents, lists of victims, bank transfers, everything." I took the flash drive with a shaking hand. "Why are you giving me this?" "Because I know that Camilla married her son, and I know that she will do the same thing she did with the other victims. She will empty his account, make him sign documents, and then disappear. And if he tries to react, if he tries to report it, she can do to him what she did to Lucas." My blood ran cold. To kill? Yes. They have no limits, Mr. Carlos. They are capable of anything. I came home with the pen drive and my heart racing. I turned on the computer, inserted the pen drive, and opened the files. It had audios. Lots of audio. I clicked on the first one. It was Camilla's voice. Unmistakable. "Camilla, Dad, has Tiago signed the papers yet?" "Rogerio, not yet, but this week he signed. I said it was for investment in the company. He trusts me." "Camilla, what about the joint account?" "Rogerio, it's already open. As soon as he transfers the money, we'll clean everything up and let it go." "Camilla, what if he gets suspicious?" "Rogerio, he won't be suspicious. And if he is suspicious, we'll fix him, just like we did with Lucas." My heart stopped. "Camilla, do you think it was easy for me? It was my brother." "Rogerio, so what? He was going to hand us over. You did what you had to do." "Camilla, I know, but sometimes I still think about him." "Rogerio, forget about it. Focus on work. Tiago has almost $500,000 in his account. This will pay off well. I paused the audio. It was shaking. Of anger, of fear, of despair. They were going to steal my son, and if he found out, they would kill him. I had to do something. Fast. And I called Tiago again, from a payphone because he had blocked me. He answered. Hello? Tiago, it's me, your father. I told you not to call me anymore, he shouted. Tiago, listen. You're in danger. Camilla and her father are planning to rob you. They're going to empty your account and disappear. He laughed, a mocking laugh. You're crazy. Completely crazy. My father-in-law is a respected businessman, and Camilla loves me. She doesn't love you. She's using you. I have proof, audios, documents. Come here and I'll show you. I'm not going there. And if you continue with these lies, I'll go to the police and file a police report against you for defamation. Tiago, please. He hung up. I tried calling again. He didn't answer anymore. I stood there, standing still, not knowing what to do. My son didn't want to listen to me. He was blind, completely manipulated. And then my cell phone rang again. Unknown number. Answered. Hello? It was Rogerio's voice, thick, threatening. Mr. Carlos, we need to talk. My heart raced. How did you get my number? I can get anything I want, including making you disappear if you keep meddling in my son-in-law's business. I won't stop. You won't steal my son. He laughed. An icy laugh. Stealing? Mr. Carlos, I'm not robbing anyone. Tiago is investing in my business. It's a legitimate investment. He's going to make a lot of money. You're a liar, a scammer, and I'm going to report you. Report? He laughed again. With what evidence? You have nothing, and even if you did, no one would believe you. An old, poor, desperate doorman. Who will take you seriously? I have proof. I have audio. I have documents, and I will expose you. There was silence, and then his voice changed. It got cold, dangerous. Mr. Carlos, I'm going to give you some advice. Get lost. Disappear from Tiago's life. Forget that he exists. Because if you keep getting involved, you're going to have an accident, just like my son Lucas had. My blood ran cold. Did you kill your own son? I did what needed to be done, and I will do it again if necessary. So choose, your life or the illusion of saving your son. And he hung up. After Rogerio's threat, I sat in the dark of my living room for 3 hours, shaking, fear, anger, despair, all mixed up. They had killed their own son, and they were going to kill mine if I didn't do anything. But what could I do? I was just a man, alone, no money, no power, against a family of criminals who had connections, lawyers, and no limits, until my cell phone rang again. It was Bruna. Mr. Carlos, I heard that Rogerio called you. He threatened you, right? How do you know that? Because he does this to everyone who discovers the truth. He threatens, he intimidates, and if the person doesn't stop, he acts. Her voice was serious, firm, but this time he won't make it, because I won't let him. Bruna, you don't understand. This man is dangerous. He killed his own son. I know, and that's why I spent the last 2 years gathering evidence, not just against him, but against the entire family. And now I have everything we need to take them down. I felt a spark of hope. Did you go to the police? I've tried, 3 times. But Rogerio has contacts inside. He always manages to shelve the process or bribe someone. We can't trust the local police. So what do? We expose them publicly, in front of so many people that they won't be able to escape. And I know exactly when and where to do it. Where? At the wedding celebration dinner. It will be on Saturday, at Camilla's parents' house. They invited all the city's elite, businessmen, politicians, judges. It's the perfect event. If we expose them there, in front of everyone, they won't be able to escape. My heart accelerated. But how am I supposed to get in there? They kicked me out of the wedding. They're going to kick me out again. Not if you come in with me. I still have the invitation. Rogerio doesn't know that I have the proof. He thinks I gave up after Lucas died, so he won't be suspicious if I show up there. What if it goes wrong? What if they try to shut us up? That's why we're going to record everything. We're going to do a live broadcast on social media. That way, even if they try to stop us, the damage will already be done. The whole world will know who they really are. I remained silent, thinking. It was risky, very risky, but it was the only chance I had to save my son. I'm in, I said. In the following days, Bruna and I met several times to plan everything down to the smallest detail. She was smart, organized, and he hated that family as much as I did. She showed me more proof. There were documents that Lucas had kept before he died, false contracts, bribe receipts, bank statements showing suspicious transfers, and most importantly, there was a video. Lucas recorded this 2 days before he died, she said, opening the video on her laptop. The image was shaky, filmed hidden. Lucas was in a car, filming with his cell phone. It was parked in front of a warehouse, and inside, you could see Rogerio and Camila talking to 2 men who looked like criminals, exchanging suitcases, laughing, counting money. They were closing a money laundering deal with a faction, Bruna explained. Lucas found out, and he was going to hand over this video to the federal police. But before he could, they killed him. I felt a lump in my throat. How did you get that video? He emailed it to me the night before he died. He said if anything happened to him, I had to keep it and use it when the time was right. She looked me in the eyes. The time has come. Sabato arrived. The day of the dinner. Bruna stopped by my house at 6 in the afternoon. She was wearing a black dress, elegant with makeup, unrecognizable compared to the scared girl I had met in the square. Are you ready? She asked. I was in a suit, the same old suit from the wedding. But this time, I didn't feel embarrassed. I felt determined. I'm ready. We got into her car and went to Rogerio's house. It was a mansion, high gate, huge garden, luxury cars parked at the entrance, security guards at the door. Bruna showed the invitation. The security guard looked, checked the list, and let us in. My heart was racing. We enter the house. Everything was luxurious. Marble, chandeliers, expensive pictures on the walls, and there were people everywhere. Men in suits, women in long dresses, waiters serving champagne and canapes. I looked for Tiago, and I saw him. I was near the stairs talking to Camilla and her father-in-law. He was in a gray suit smiling, holding a glass of wine. He looked happy, trusting, having no idea of the danger he was in. Let's wait for the right moment, Bruna whispered. When everyone is gathered in the main room, then we act. We stood in the corner watching, until Rogerio stood on a small improvised stage and banged a glass to attract attention. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to celebrate my daughter Camilla's wedding with Tiago with us. He gestured to them. Everyone applauded. I want to take this opportunity to announce something special. Tiago has just become a partner in my company. He invested a significant amount and is now part of the Almeida family, not only in marriage but also in business. More applause. My stomach turned. He had done. Tiago had invested. I had given them the money. Bruna, I whispered. We need to act now. She nodded and took out her cell phone. Set up live streaming on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all at the same time. There, she said. It's recording. Let's go. We walked to the stage. People looked at us. Some frowned. Camila saw us. Her face turned white. What are you doing here? She whispered, tensely. Bruna went on stage and took the microphone from Rogerio's hand before he could react. Good evening, she said, her voice firm, loud. My name is Bruna, and I was engaged to Lucas Almeida, Rogerio's son, Camila's brother. The hall fell silent, everyone looking. Rogerio tried to take the microphone back. Bruna, get out of there, now. No, she said, walking away. You will hear me. You will all hear, because I spent 2 years in silence, in fear, but now it's over. Camilla went on stage. Security, get this crazy woman out of here. But Bruna continued quickly. Lucas died 2 years ago. The police said it was suicide, but it wasn't. He was murdered by his own family because he discovered that Rogerio and Camila are scammers, criminals, and he was going to report it. People started whispering. Rogerio turned red with anger. That's a lie. Slander. Get out of my house now. That's when I got on stage too. All the people looked at me. I saw Tiago. He saw me. His face became confused, shocked. Dad, what are you doing here? I took the microphone from Bruna's hand. My hand was shaking, but I needed to do this. My name is Carlos Alberto da Silva. I am Tiago's father, and I came here today to save my son. My voice echoed in the hall. Because the woman he married and the family he thinks are good people are liars, scammers, murderers. The room exploded with conversations. Tiago approached the stage, pale. Dad, have you gone crazy? No, son. I woke up, and you need to wake up too. I looked at Camila. She was rigid, eyes full of hate. Camila Rodriguez de Almeida has cases in 3 states for embezzlement. She scammed dozens of men, and now she's scamming you. That's a lie, Camila screamed. It is not. I took a printed copy of the police report out of my pocket. Here, Civil Police of Minas Gerais. She fled from there after stealing more than 200,000 reais. I threw the papers on the floor. People approached, picked it up, started reading it. Rogerio tried to leave the stage, but Bruna blocked him. And there's more, she said, taking out her cell phone. Do you want to know how Lucas really died? She connected her cell phone to the sound system and projected the video on the large TV in the living room. The video started playing. Lucas's voice, the image of Rogerio and Camila in the warehouse, the money, the criminals. They were involved in money laundering, Bruna said, her voice breaking. And when Lucas found out and threatened to report it, they killed him. They faked a suicide. People were in shock. Some started to leave. Others took out their cell phones to film. Tiago took the stage. He was shaking. He looked at me. He looked at Camila. Is that true, Camila? She didn't respond. He just looked at him with hatred. Camila, he shouted. Answer. Is this true? She took a step back, and then he smiled. That cold smile. cruel. What if it is? Tiago was paralyzed. Do you think I loved you? She continued, voice full of venom. You were just another one. Another idiot in love who fell for my story. I was going to take your money and disappear, just like I did with everyone else. Tiago staggered. I caught him before he fell. Son, he looked at me, tears flowing. Dad, I didn't believe you. I know, son, but now you know the truth. Rogerio tried to run away, but the party's security guards, who had heard everything, blocked him. Nobody leaves here, one of them said. The police arrived 5 minutes later. Bruna had called before we entered, and with the live broadcast that already had thousands of views, with the evidence, with the video, there was no way for them to escape. Rogerio and Camila were arrested, and Tiago, my son, fell into my lap and cried like he hadn't cried since he was a child. But in the middle of the confusion, as the police put handcuffs on Rogerio, he looked at me and smiled, a smile that chilled me to the bone, because I realized this man was not afraid of going to prison. He had a plan B. That smile from Rogerio haunted me the whole night. Even with him being taken away in handcuffs by the police, even with Camila screaming that it was all a lie, even with all the evidence exposed, he smiled, as if he knew something that no one else knew. And he knew. The next morning, Sunday, I woke up early. Tiago had slept on the sofa at my house. He didn't want to go back to the apartment he had shared with Camila. He said he couldn't even look at her things. I was happy to have my son back home, even if it was for the worst reasons. I made coffee. I sat with him at the small kitchen table. His face was swollen from crying. Red eyes, messy hair. He seemed to have aged 10 years in one night. Father, he said, his voice hoarse, I owe you an apology. An apology I don't even know if you'll accept. I held his hand. Son, let me talk. He cut me off, and the tears came back. I treated you like dirt. I kicked you out of my life. I believed in her and not you. You who raised me alone, who worked like a dog to give me everything, who never abandoned me, and I abandoned you. He sobbed. I'm a horrible son. My heart sank. No, Tiago, you're not horrible. You were manipulated, deceived. These people are experts at this. They know how to get into people's heads. But I should have seen it, Dad. I should have known. You tried to warn me and I called you names. I blocked you. I kicked you out of my wedding. He covered his face with his hands. How do I get you to forgive me? I got up, went to him, and hugged him. Strong. How I hadn't hugged him since he was a child. I've already forgiven, son. From the first second. He hugged me back and cried on my shoulder. And I cried too. Of relief, of pain, of love. But the peace was short-lived, because that afternoon, we got a call. It belonged to the delegate responsible for the case. Mr. Carlos, I need you and your son to come to the police station. It's urgent. My stomach turned. Did something happen? Rogerio Almeida was released. The world stopped. What do you mean I'm free? Tiago shouted, listening to the conversation. He confessed. He had proof. He had everything. Come here. I'll explain. We arrived at the police station half an hour later. The police chief, a man of about 50, tired, received us in a small room. Rogerio has powerful lawyers, he began. They obtained a habeas corpus. They claimed that the arrest was irregular, that there was no flagrant act, that the evidence was obtained illegally. But the live broadcast, I said. Everyone saw it. They claim that it was a setup, that you forged everything to harm the family. And worse, Rogerio filed a lawsuit against you for defamation, moral damage, and invasion of privacy. Tiago turned white. Is he suing us? Yes. And he has the money to drag this out for years. In the meantime, he's free. I felt the anger rise. So it was all in vain? We exposed him, and he's going to get away with it? The deputy sighed. I didn't say that. I said he left temporarily, but the criminal case is still ongoing, and with the evidence you presented, plus the investigation we already have underway, he won't escape, but it will take time. How long? Tiago asked. Months, maybe years. My son buried his face in his hands, so he's going to remain free, doing whatever he wants, carrying out blows, killing people. That's when Bruna entered the room. I hadn't even seen her arrive. Not if he doesn't have any more money, she said. Everyone looked at her. What do you mean? The delegate Fori shouted. She sat down and placed a folder on the table. I didn't come here just with proof of the crimes. I came with something better. I came with the money trail. Bruna opened the folder and spread documents on the table. They were bank statements, contracts, offshore company records. Lucas found out all of this before he died, she explained. He tracked every penny that Rogerio embezzled, every fake account, every shell company, every tax haven, and he left everything documented. The deputy took one of the papers and began to read. His eyes widened. This is money laundering on an industrial scale. Exactly. And it's not just Rogerio. There are politicians involved, business people, judges. Bruna pointed to a list of names. This is the whole network. Rogerio isn't at the top. He's just a piece. But if we take him down, we'll take everyone down. The deputy looked at her with respect. You know you're taking a risk, right? These people don't play. I know, but I'm not afraid anymore. They've already taken everything from me. They killed the man I loved. I won't let them do that to anyone else. Tiago looked at her. Thank you, Bruna, for everything. She gave a sad smile. Lucas would want me to do that. The deputy took the documents. I'm going to pass this on to the Federal Public Ministry. With this here, we can arrest Rogerio again, and this time he won't get out. But as we were leaving the police station, my cell phone rang. Unknown number. I answered, suspicious. Hello? It was Rogerio's voice. Calm, cold. Mr. Carlos, congratulations. You managed to arrest me for a few hours. But now I'm free. And do you know what I'm going to do? My hand shook. I don't care. I will destroy you and your son. I will sue you. I will take everything you have. I will make you lose your job, your home, your reputation. And when you are in the gutter, I will be watching and laughing. You're not going to do anything, I said, trying to keep my voice steady, because you're going back to jail and this time you're going to stay. He laughed. Do you really think so, Mr. Carlos? I have lawyers that cost more than you earn in 10 years. I have contacts everywhere. Judges, prosecutors, politicians. I am untouchable. No one is untouchable. We'll see. And he hung up. I looked at Tiago. He had heard everything. Dad, he's going to try to get revenge. I know, son, but we won't give up. In the following days, things became tense. Rogerio actually filed a lawsuit against us. He asked for millionaire compensation. The press started covering the case. Some newspapers gave him a voice, painting him as a victim of unfair persecution. Others defended us, showing evidence of the crimes. But the pressure was enormous. Tiago lost his job. His company did not want to be associated with the scandal. I started receiving anonymous threats, calls in the middle of the night, messages saying that I would pay dearly. There was a night when I thought about giving up. I thought about taking Tiago and running away, start over somewhere else. But then I remembered Joanna. I remembered the promise I made to her at the hospital. I will take care of our boy, always. And caring meant fighting, until the end. 2 weeks later, the Federal Public Ministry filed a formal complaint against Rogerio, Camila, and 17 other people involved in the money laundering scheme. The federal police carried out an operation. He arrested everyone again. And this time, the federal judge denied habeas corpus. The defendants represent a danger to public order and a risk of flight. Preventive detention maintained. When I received the news, I fell to my knees in the living room and cried, of relief, of gratitude. Tiago was by my side. He hugged me. It's over, Dad. It's over. But it wasn't over yet, because there was still something I needed to do. I went to visit Camila in prison. Tiago didn't understand. Why, Dad? What for? Because I need to look her in the eye and say something. I got permission to visit. I entered the visiting room. Camila was on the other side of the glass, no makeup, without the pretty dress, without the fake smile, just a defeated woman, in an orange uniform, hair tied up, deep circles under her eyes. She picked up the phone. I got mine. Are you here to insult me? She asked, emotionless. No, I said. I came to tell you something. She waited. I forgive you. She frowned. What? I forgive you. For what you did to me, for what you did to my son. Because if I don't forgive you, I'll carry this anger for the rest of my life, and I don't want that. I've already carried too much pain. She was silent, and then, for the first time, I saw something real in her face. It wasn't regret. It wasn't remorse. It was empty. You don't understand, she said quietly. I don't know how to be anything else. I learned since I was a child. My father taught me. He said, the world belongs to the smart ones. Either you deceive or you are deceived. I just did what I was taught. Then learn something else, I said. You have the rest of your life to learn. And I got up and left. 3 months later, the trial took place. Rogerio was sentenced to 22 years in prison. Camila, 15. The others involved received varying sentences. The judge was emphatic in his sentence. The defendants demonstrated an absolute lack of character, destroying lives and families without any remorse. Society needs to be protected from people like them. When the sentence was read, I was in the audience with Tiago. He held my hand, and we cried, of relief, of justice. Tiago managed to recover the money he had invested. The court blocked Rogerio's accounts and returned the amounts to the victims. My son didn't lose everything, and most importantly, he recovered himself. He moved back in with me, not because I needed to, but because I wanted to. We started having dinners every night, long conversations, laughter. He fondly called me Dad again. He hugged me again. He became my son again. One day, sitting on the porch, he said to me, Dad, I spent years chasing money, status, appearing in society, and I lost what really mattered. I lost you. I lost my essence. I lost my dignity. I looked at him. But you recovered, son. That's what matters. I only recovered because you didn't give up on me. Even when I treated you like dirt, you kept loving me. You kept fighting for me. I put my hand on his shoulder. That's what Dad does, Tiago. We don't give up. Never. Today, almost a year after everything, I look back and see how much we have grown. Tiago got a new job, better than the previous one. He's dating a good, simple, honest girl. She comes home for dinner every week, and she treats me with respect, with affection, as a father-in-law, like family. Bruna became our friend. She managed to overcome the pain of losing Lucas and is rebuilding her life. She says that the justice we achieved gave her peace, and in memory of Lucas and me, I continue to be who I always was, Carlos Alberto da Silva, worker, father, fighter. But now I have something I didn't have a year ago. I have my son back. I learned some things throughout this journey. I learned that a father's love is not measured in money. It is not measured in expensive clothes, in luxurious parties, in social status. It is measured in presence, in fight, to never give up. I learned that there are people in the world who will try to make you feel small, bottom, unworthy, but you don't have to believe them. You know who you are, and no one can take that away from you. I learned that justice can take time. It can be painful. It may seem impossible, but if you don't give up, if you keep fighting, it will come. And I learned that forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiving does not mean forgetting. It doesn't mean accepting what they did to you. It means releasing anger, release the weight, move on. This morning, Tiago woke me up early. He had a smile on his face. Dad, good morning. I made breakfast. I went to the kitchen. The table was set. Bread, butter, coffee, juice. And in the middle of the table, an envelope. What is that? I asked. Open. I opened it. It was a scripture, from a house, in my name. I looked at him, confused. Tiago, Dad, your whole life you've lived on rent, working like crazy to pay other people's bills. Not anymore. This house is yours, paid off, deeded in your name. You'll never pay rent again. You'll have your own corner, your home, forever. The tears came, without me being able to control them. Son, I don't know what to say. He hugged me. You don't need to say anything, Dad. You've already done everything for me. Now it's my turn to give back. And there, in that hug, I knew it had all been worth it. Every pain, every tear, every humiliation. Because in the end I had what really mattered. I had my son back. And nothing in this world is worth more than that. Bree, if you are listening to me, you have gone through or are going through something similar. If you have a child who turned their back on you, who rejected you, who treated you badly, I want to tell you something. Don't give up. Keep loving. Keep fighting. Keep believing. Because one day your child will wake up. You will see the truth, and it will come back to you. And when that day comes, all the years of pain will be worth it. Because a father's love is like that. Don't give up. Don't get tired. It doesn't end. Never.